This is 7 National News. In our top story, directives from a senior official at the Mohammed bin Rashid Housing establishment have been given to accelerate the completion of the recent housing program. According to a statement in Emirates news agency WAM, the executive director of the Mohammed bin Rashid Housing Establishment, Sami Gargash, gave the directives as the establishment begins the implementation of 68 housing units within the project of Barsha, which include 1,240 houses fit for small families to be distributed as soon as possible. The statement added that the move comes from the institution's dedication to ensure the housing needs of high-quality and less expensive homes to various segments of society. Her Highness Sheikh Jawaher bint Mohammed Al Qasimi, wife of His Highness Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Mohammed Al Qasimi, member of the Supreme Council and ruler of Sharjah, has been named as the official international ambassador of the World Cancer Declaration and the first WCD international ambassador for pediatric cancer in the world by the Board of Directors of the Union for International Cancer Control. The honour comes in recognition of Her Highness's outstanding efforts at both the local and international level and her significant contribution towards cancer control, which includes the launch of initiatives aimed at raising public awareness about the risk and symptoms of cancer and the importance of early detection, and providing best methods of treatment and care for patients as well as their families. Her Highness is the first ambassador for childhood cancer in the world and the second Arab ambassador to be chosen by the UICC for World Cancer Declaration. Her Highness emphasized that intensive and collective official, scientific, financial and social efforts are required to root out the disease in its entirety. She called for supporting the humanitarian and national efforts made by cancer organizations all over the world. Of all the water on Earth, only 2.5% is fresh water, and of all this fresh water, the total usable supply for ecosystems and humans is less than 1%. When demand for water exceeds available supply, it results in water scarcity, and drylands are particularly vulnerable. Today marks World Desertification Day, and the Emirates Environmental Group, together with the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, are once again channeling their efforts to create awareness about the challenges of the issue, in particular to a region that is no stranger to water scarcity and drought. The UAE's leading environmental organisation and the UNCCD is hoping to increase the community's role in the battle against this problem, which fortunately can be combated and even mitigated. The public are encouraged to take a closer look at how much water they consume and what they can do to reduce consumption to what is absolutely necessary to meet individual and sectorial needs. EEG will continue to raise awareness about water conservation as it has been doing so for nearly 2 decades, targeting the youth, academic sector, corporates and the community at large via a range of programs. Dubai's Knowledge and Human Development Authority has revealed that parents and schools are set to benefit from a new legally binding initiative outlining their rights and responsibilities. Designed to promote positive relationships and protect the rights of both schools and families, the school-parent contract will include refund and admission policies, school fees, attendance and punctuality, as well as health and safety provision and transportation. It will also address parental responsibilities, such as providing schools with accurate medical, psychological and educational assessment records. The first phase of the parent-school contract, the signing of which will be mandatory for student registration, will be rolled out to 6 schools at the start of the 2013-14 academic year. Continuous evaluations determining the effectiveness of the contracts and reducing disputes between parents and schools will be undertaken during this time. Based on the outcome of these evaluations, the initiative will be expanded.
Throughout our weekly visit to schools, a number of repeated concerns being raised by school management and parents. And it was clear that the reason behind it was lack of binding contracts between both parties. Also, through our work, we realized that the reason behind many disputes that we've been receiving here in KHDA between parents and schools were the same, and the schools which had clearly outlined an agreement or a sort of an agreement experienced less disputes with parents. In addition to that, number of complaints had been increasing in these schools that's lacking any sort of an agreement. And in many cases, we discover that parents are not aware of their rights and duties, which cause the dispute between both parties.
Abu Dhabi will soon be rolling out several initiatives aimed at boosting the level of safety, security and quality of bus transportation services to the public, as stated by the capital's Department of Transport. The department, in cooperation with the Centre for Regulation of Transport by Hire Cars in the Emirate of Abu Dhabi, are gearing up to optimise mini and medium-sized bus services, including public buses and private ones used for tourism, labour and employee transportation, whilst combating any illegally provided transportation services. In addition to this, integrated legislations will be launched to further regulate the services. Officials say that this system will monitor all actions and will penalise any entity or person found in breach of those regulations, as stated in Emirates news agency WAM. Bus drivers will also be scrutinised on their licensing conditions and briefed on several customer and quality service benchmark practices. Finally, this evening, the gifted students at the Rashid Pediatric Centre and Region International School have managed to raise 25,000 dirhams by auctioning artworks which they created themselves. Last month, the 30 gifted Region International School students from Year 8 and 9 shared their art skills with students from Rashid Pediatric as part of a unique outreach program. During the workshop, a buddy system was used to pair the students together. These 15 groups then spent the day creating these distinct artworks, which would later be auctioned off. From the 69 original pieces that were displayed yesterday evening, a few very special pieces, which were created by 3 of the extremely gifted students of Rashid Pediatric, became the highlight of the auction, fetching the highest of all the pieces. Meanwhile, this auction has generated enough funds for Rashid Pediatric to build a new garden for its students.
Today's auction is a culmination of a one-year project that the students from Region International School and the students from Rashid Pediatric Center were doing together. So as the first stage of the project, our students had prepared this wonderful work. As you can see, they went around the streets of Dubai, took pictures, they worked in our art studio, they made all the paintings. The second stage of the project was our students went to Rashid Pediatric and they buddied up with their students, they did a project together, they started the artwork. The third stage, the Rashid Pediatric students came to us. So today is that culmination where we hoping to sell this wonderful work and benefit Rashid Pediatric School.
I think they are really brilliant and they are really, really good. You couldn't even think that they are pupils or students who made them. They are really excellent.
Well, I love the Modigliani-inspired pictures of the faces that the kids have painted. They're just fantastic. They've done, a really good job of doing that, and the photographs. I mean, I go and take photographs down by the creek and I never get photographs this good. They've just done a really fantastic job.
Quality of the stuff they've actually produced is fantastic. They've really earned their stars at this, really good stuff.